Why, hello there. I'm Brock Jameson, and I'm accompanied by my co-host Nick Poland. Welcome to the More Than a Game podcast. It's our mission to demonstrate how football truly is more than a game. Beyond the X's and O's, we plan to discuss how the game of football has an effect on our everyday lives. Nick and I have built a friendship on our common love for football, and we want to share our ideas with the rest of the multimedia universe. Hello there. So, if you guys are curious, I am dressed up as the Joker. Um, I I received my inspiration for the Joker costume from the Heath Ledger Dark Knight. That's my favorite Joker. I obviously don't have the long hair. I don't have the long hair, but I like the black eyes and the red slit cheeks. That's the Joker makeup I like to go with, so that's how I'm rocking it today.
Best Joker of all
And the
time.
reason is, guys, is that we shoot one podcast a week, and so this is the podcast before Halloween. So trick or treat.
I like it.
Nick, what are you for Halloween?
So I
Are
don't know
you a
if you've
Chiefs
ever.
fan?
No, I'm not, unfortunately. But so I don't know if you've ever seen the show Squid Game, but I am a character named Thanos from season 2 of Squid Game. He has like purple hair and all that stuff. We actually had a Halloween party last Saturday, so I have like the tracksuit, the numbers, and everything. So that's what I was. It was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
should have brought it out for the podcast.
I should have, but especially the purple hair, that took so long to get out. And then I had a wedding the next day. My forehead was purple and it was a pain. Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah, I know the feeling, and I'm going to be experiencing that this evening.
Yeah.
All right, segment 1, kickoff. So we're going to start by reviewing the 3 games that we've chosen. We've chosen Packers, Steelers, Jets, Bengals, Bears, Ravens. Up next for Between the Hashes, we're going to play Crank or Tank. I'll explain it later, but we've picked 8 teams, and we're going to say Crank or Tank. Segment 4, we got our Saturday showdown with the college football review. Segment 5, we got your best bets, sprinkle in our money lines. Segment 6, we've got the scouting report. We've chosen 6 games to give our predictions for how they'll go this weekend. Segment 7 is our More Than a Game podcast. And we're following up on a topic we discussed previously with More Than a Game. Segment 2, the review booth. All right, first up, we're going to choose an early game. We have the Bears and the Baltimore Ravens. And I know the Baltimore Ravens won that game. I don't have the score in front of me at this moment. I think it was 16-12.
The Ravens won
beat the
30 to
Oh,
30 to 16.
30 to 16. The score, I thought it was 16-12 at one point. I was mistaken. The Ravens won that game 30 to 16. Derrick Henry had a big day. Tyler Huntley has his first start of the 2025 season. He's probably the quarterback they should have had back there all along. I don't know what Cooper Rush was doing back there, in my honest opinion. Caleb Williams and the Bears, they take a step backwards. They come back to life after winning 4 consecutive games from that 0-2 start. Nick, what are your takeaways?
Just Tyler Huntley, he has experience with that offense and he's had success with them before. This is obviously the best move you can do right now. This is the best we've seen the Ravens, let's be honest, all year. I don't think have they won by double digits all year?
Yeah, they beat Cleveland by 24 points.
That's right. They beat Cleveland, but that's it, I'm pretty sure. And this is the best we've seen them in well over a month. And can they do what you've been saying? Can they take baby steps and maybe reclaim the North? It was a must win and they won.
Yes. And like I said, I'm bullish. I'm bullish on Baltimore winning the AFC North. I think it's going to happen. I'm trying to find that article. I read this on Sunday Night Football. The Ravens violated the NFL's injury report policy by listing Lamar Jackson as a full participant at practice, yet scratching him at the start of the game.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I will. They violated the NFL's injury report. They could be subject to discipline by the league because they listed Jackson as a full participant, but he only ran the scout team. They changed his practice participation to limited Saturday while ruling him out because of a right hamstring injury. Jim Harbaugh was quoted saying it really is an honest mistake. But to be fair, there is no advantage gained with, listing Lamar Jackson as a full participant and then backing him out, in my honest opinion. I think the Sunday Night Football podcast was making a mountain out of an anthill because if you were listing him as injured than playing him, that's obviously going to ruin the Bears' game plan. But if the Bears are preparing for him and then he all of a sudden doesn't play, I don't see where that's an issue.
Yeah, no, I agree completely.
All right. Baltimore goes to 2-5. They start that win train. And the Bears, like I said, fall to 4-3 after winning 4 consecutive games. So they're humbled. Next game, we got the New York Jets and the Cincinnati Bengals. The New York Jets defeated the Cincinnati Bengals. That's right. You heard me. New York Jets defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 39-38. Cincinnati was up by as many as, I want to say, 12 points.
Yeah, it was 12 points.
Cincinnati was up 12. Yeah, in the fourth quarter, Cincinnati was up 31-16, and then Cincinnati even scores a touchdown in the fourth, but that's not enough because they can't stop and their offense doesn't move quick enough. A 3-and-out causes the Jets to get the ball back quickly, and the Jets score a touchdown to go up 39-38. Cincinnati has the ball back, and I don't care who your quarterback is. Once again, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, they're going to give you a chance to kick a field goal. That's why Cincinnati's so dangerous. But they have a turnover on downs, and Cincinnati loses 39-38. It's a little embarrassing for Cincinnati to hand the New York Jets their first victory, but an interesting more than a game moment for this game was that a New York Jets legend, offensive lineman Nick Mangold. He was born and raised in the Cincinnati area, 45 minutes away from Paycor Stadium, and he passed away the week leading up to this game. And it's just very fitting that his former team was able to get a win in that stadium, which we'd like to think he was watching over.
Crazy story. What a game, though. What a
I think
game.
he passed away on Sunday.
Was it Sunday? I think it was. I think it was Sunday morning. Yeah, it was Sunday.
All right. Well, so like I said, I mean, we'd like to think Nick Mangold was watching over his former team, the Jets, as they went to a stadium he probably went to multiple times as a kid watching the Cincinnati Bengals play. If you're Cincinnati, you don't really know where to go from here because you thought you were gaining momentum by beating Pittsburgh, but is that really a victory that you should be proud of, especially after you lost to a winless team? Either way, we knew we would take this moment to give the Jets their flowers and congratulate them on getting that first victory. Nobody wants to go 0-17.
No, nobody does. We knew it was going to happen. The Jets do have talent on their roster. They've got some good players on their offense. They just couldn't quite close out games. We knew it was going to happen. They couldn't do it against Denver. They couldn't do it against the Steelers week 1, and they got it this week. And I was one of those Bengal believers that thought Joe Flacco was just going to start dominating every week. And it could start next week, but this is a big loss by this Bengals team. Definitely doesn't feel good losing to the Jets.
Anthony Lynn gets his first victory as a coach. Smiles all around for the New York Jets.
Absolutely.
Up next, we have the Green Bay Packers defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was 35-25.
Man, can we just take a moment and talk about how ugly those Steeler uniforms were? They were so bad. They looked like XFL jerseys. I'm not even kidding. Or some type of indoor football league. Didn't belong in an NFL game. I honestly prefer the honeybee alternate uniforms they wore, which I'm not a fan of either, but
the honeybee is better because the honeybee has horizontal stripes.
Yeah.
Those vertical stripes made no sense.
No sense at all.
Like, football players are relatively thin. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to put vertical stripes. Officials wear vertical stripes, but I think and they only had them on the front. They weren't on the back. And there was only like 4 stripes for each jersey. Like, I just didn't understand it from a fashion standpoint. But the thing is, we're not supposed to because they were trying to replicate the first uniforms in Steelers franchise history. So they weren't going for fashion points. They were going to pay homage to some Steelers legends.
Yeah. Fair
Pittsburgh, Green Bay starts with a 7-0 lead. Okay. But Pittsburgh claws back into it. They kick 3 Boswell field goals to go up 9-7. And then they score a touchdown to end the first half. Pittsburgh's got a 16-7 lead heading into the locker room. All of a sudden, you're thinking Aaron Rodgers giving the business to his old team. All right, showing them who's boss. But Green Bay starts the third quarter with a touchdown, go up 16-14. It's 19-14 at the start of the fourth after another Boswell field goal, but Green Bay scores 3 touchdowns. Oh, actually, they score, let's put it this way, they score 21 unanswered points. A failed 2-point conversion, and then a field goal, 2 field goals, and a touchdown. 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals. One of them was a failed 2-point conversion, which means that we have the 21 unanswered points from Green Bay, and then Pittsburgh scores a touchdown to make it interesting at the end, but they can't even go for 2, which keeps it a 10-point game. They still chose to onside kick, which you got to respect because you never give up, right? Got to try and win that game. Even if they recovered that onside kick, it wouldn't have mattered because they would have had less than 2 minutes to score 10 points. So
It was
Jordan Love really truly flips the script. Okay, not only do you have postseason success for Green Bay, but you overthrew the previous legend by defeating him when he plays his former team for the first time. So it is officially, if it wasn't before, it's officially the Jordan Love era in Green Bay.
Jordan Love. To put it into basketball terms, he's the Klay Thompson of the NFL. The dude, when he gets hot, he is so freaking good. So consistent with the ball. He What did he do? He went 20 straight he had 20 straight completed passes, which tied up Brett Favre's record in that game. And there was one pass in the game which was unbelievable where he rolled to his right and he threw across his body across the field on third down. The dude was on unbelievable. So props to Jordan Love, man. The Jordan Love era has begun.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from, and we've experienced it firsthand as Chiefs fans. We're never going to forget that Sunday night football game when Jordan Love was like playing out of his mind, completing passes left and right, couldn't miss wide receivers, and that happened in the second half
It did.
of this game.
It sure did.
Green Bay they're more and more doing this all white color rush.
They are.
I
I
I
don't
like it
know.
once. They needed it. I think they needed it because the Steelers were wearing yellow. Because the Packers uniforms would have clashed in a bad way. They would have had their traditional roadies, which is yellow helmet, yellow pants, white. It honestly would have clashed,
Mhm.
which I mean that's my guess as to why they chose to wear those alternates.
You're probably right. Probably right. I know, like, back in 2016, the NFL had, like, the color rush deals where when one team wore color rush, the other team had to also wear color rush. You got that a
Yeah,
lot. Yep.
it happened on Thursday Night Football,
Thursday night
like near
football. I remember the days.
that Jets
The
that Jets
Jets,
Bills game.
the Jets Bills. That's what I was just gonna bring up.
And the player was or the commentator was colorblind, so
Yeah.
he had like they had to find someone else to do the game because he couldn't tell the two teams apart. That concludes segment 2. We've shared everything we need to share about Packers Steelers. Now we're going to go to our main segment, segment 3, Between the Hashes. Okay, we're going to play a very nice game. It's called Crank or Tank. All right, what this means is we're going to review 8 teams that have a record that's either 500 or under 500. I think every team we picked is under 500, actually.
They
And
are.
we're going to determine, is your season over? That means tank, okay? Because you're going to tank. Your season's over. The games don't matter. You know, you're going to tank to get a good draft pick. It's just a joke. We know they're obviously not going to tank, but and if we think they have a chance, we're not saying they have a chance to get in the postseason. We're saying they have a chance to get in the playoff picture when it's time to decide those teams. We're not saying the teams that we say crank. Crank means, yeah, we believe in this team. Crank, raise the bar on them, all right? We think they're going to rise. We're not saying that they're going to make the postseason. We're simply saying they're going to get back in the mix and they're going to be fighting for a wild card spot or that last division spot when it's all said and done. That's what we mean by crank. And by tank, we simply mean your season's over. We don't think you're going to get back in the mix. So, first up, we have the Dallas Cowboys. Nick?
Done. They're done. I don't expect them to be in this playoff picture at all. I hate their defense so much. They can't stop anyone. They're they just can't win games. And right now their record's not horrible, but they play some really good opponents coming up, including a Thanksgiving game against the Chiefs. Yeah, I'm looking right now. They got the Lions coming up, the Eagles. There's some good games coming up, and I think it's on to next year already.
Yeah, they got to be averaging like 40 points a game.
It's something like that.
Both teams have put 44 on them, Washington and Denver. Yeah, I mean, Washington beat them with Jaden Daniels for the most part. Carolina put 30 on them.
Yeah. And Denver's a team that doesn't like to score a lot of points, and they did. They really did. So, no,
Yeah.
they're
The
they're
only team to score less than 30 points is the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles.
mhm.
And they probably would have if it wasn't for that rain delay.
Yeah,
So I'm going to say tank for the Dallas Cowboys.
same. Tank.
They just don't have a consistent winning formula.
It's been a disaster all
Oh,
year.
wait. No, I'm sorry. They beat Washington. My bad.
They did beat
I
Washington. Yeah.
sorry. I said with Jaden Daniels, Washington won, but no, they put 44 up against
They
Washington.
beat them by 22 points, so yeah.
That's good.
That was their
Okay.
one really good game all year.
Well, they beat the Jets 37-22, but it's the Jets.
Just gave the Jets their flowers, and now we're talking crap on them. Yep.
They didn't even make it in our cranker tank.
Oh,
So
nope.
that says it all.
That says it all. You guys won.
So we both say tank.
Yep.
Okay.
Tank.
Next up, we got the Minnesota Vikings.
That's another tank for me, man. It's they haven't been good all year, let's be honest. They've had a few wins where it's like, okay, they might be something. And even when they get JJ McCarthy back, is he really that good right now? I don't think so. I think he still needs more time to develop into an NFL quarterback. This Vikings team has a lot of holes. They've got some weapons. They could put up some points, but their division, first off, is too strong. The NFC is way too strong. I don't think they're going to be anywhere near the picture. It's tank for me.
I will say tank as well because the NFC North is too strong. They're currently in last place. And they are 3-4. So give me like if they were 4-3, maybe 5-2, and JJ McCarthy was coming back to that, I think they have some healthy momentum that JJ McCarthy can step into. But JJ McCarthy's coming back to a 3-4 team. The morale is not high. So if you ask me, the Minnesota Vikings, I'm gonna have to say tank. There's a lot of good teams in the NFC, and they're just not one of them.
Just to give you guys a little heads up, the Vikings' next 5 games are Lions, Ravens, Bears, Packers, Seahawks. Good
Woo!
luck. Good luck.
Up next, so we're tank for the Minnesota Vikings. Up next, we got the Houston Texans. Nick Poland, I am going to say crank. All right. They played wonderful against San Francisco, a team that we might have included on this list. I didn't really think about. So I'm going to say crank for the Houston Texans. They started 0-3. I believe since starting 0-3, they're 2-2, maybe 3-2.
They're currently 3-4, so
Okay, so since starting 0-3, they're actually 3-1.
they're 3-1. Yeah.
Yeah, their defense has really come around, and it might be the best in the league. It's hard to say, but they're consistently holding teams to 20 points or less. Yeah. They're consistently holding teams besides Seattle. They're holding teams to 20 points or less. So their defense is playing very consistently. The one thing they've been able to rely on. CJ Stroud is not good enough to make any moves in the postseason, but he's good enough for me to say crank. All right. The NFC South is kind of weak. Indianapolis is going to win it, but I think the NFC South is weak enough that Houston can get back in this. So let's say crank for the Houston Texans, Nick.
Yeah. I'm going to agree completely. That win against the 49ers was a statement game. I kind of didn't realize they were 2-1 in those last 3 games before that. So I was like, the Texans are about to get blown by this 49ers team, but man, they beat them by 11 points. They put on a show. And like you said, this is the best defense in the NFL all around. They know how to win football games. CJ Stroud isn't the star he was his rookie year, but they know how to win in the regular season. They remind me a lot of the Alex Smith Chiefs, like that team that had a really good defense, a quarterback that could get you in the win column. That's what the Texans are this year, and yeah, crank.
Right on. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens. So I'll go ahead and start because My narrative that I'm clinging to is that the Baltimore Ravens will resurrect themselves and win the AFC North. And I can't stop believing it. Their schedule is absolute garbage from here on out. They played a lot of really tough teams, which is why they started 1-5. I mean, your first 6 games, you've got Buffalo, Cleveland, I mean, we'll put it as a win. You got Detroit, Kansas City, the Houston Texans, the Los Angeles Rams in your first 6 games. Okay. 5 of those 6 teams made the postseason. Bills, Chiefs, Texans were all in the divisional round. I mean, like, you play all 3 of those teams in your first 6 games. It's no surprise they started 1-5, but from here on out they got Miami Dolphins, Minnesota Vikings, Cleveland Browns, Jets, Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Patriots, Packers, Steelers. Okay, Patriots and Packers are the only teams you really think they might struggle with. Every other team they're going to compete with might lose on accident, but they're going to be in the game. So, yeah, I crank hard on this team. I'm gonna say 9-8 to win the AFC North.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they win the North as well. I'm just going to get straight to it. I think the Steelers will drop some games. It's in their formula. They'll be above 500 like they always are, but the Ravens, they're going to get Lamar Jackson back at some point, and once they get that momentum going, they're going to be that dark horse that everyone remembers. Like, they're going to be the Baltimore Ravens. People are actually going to be scared of them once again. And I'm gonna have to say Crank as well. Yeah, I'm looking at this schedule. I think they lose maybe 2 more games. 10-7 looks very realistic here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll sweep Pittsburgh. I think they will. And sweeping Pittsburgh, they'll tie them in record and therefore win the division. All right. Up next we have the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah. You see, if they had beat the Jets, I would have been all for that Crank. I was so high on Joe Flacco taking this team to the playoffs, winning the division, but man, it hurts losing to the Jets. Even though it was a close game, it could have gone either way. That one loss is going to hurt so bad because this Bengals team isn't going to go lose one game for the rest of the year. They're just not. And with this Ravens team looking good, it's tank, man. It's tank for the Bengals. They will not be in the playoff picture at all.
They've got 2 games against the Baltimore Ravens, one against the Buffalo Bills. Patriots, which I guess we should say, I mean, Patriots know how to beat them. Every game is tough for them. In no games do you think they're going to win it. And when that's the case, like, you're probably not going to put yourself back into contention. So I have to say tank. I would be curious to see when Joe Burrow comes back because that turf toe is approximately 3 months. So he really could come back for the last 2, 3 games of the season. But I'd like to think it's too late at that point in time.
Think so. Yeah, they're saying that the earliest he could come back is December. It's just not enough time.
Well, that's the thing. If he's back for Buffalo, that really changes things. But I don't think he's going to be back for Buffalo.
So
Cincinnati knows how to beat Buffalo.
yeah, they do. They really do.
Should have done it 3 times, but it's only
Should
happened
have.
twice
Yep.
in the past 3 years.
Yep. Yep. Not gonna get into the third reason, but the playoff game wasn't even close. Man.
And then they played him the following season and beat him pretty bad on Sunday Night Football.
Yep. Oh
It
yeah.
was a 2-score game.
This sure was. I remember that.
All right, so we're tank on Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep. We agree so far on everything. So far.
All right, Washington Commanders. Nick, what do you got?
It sucks for Commander fans. You guys were in the NFC Championship game last year. It's a tank, though. The NFC, there's too many good teams, and this team is losing a lot of games. Even with Jaden Daniels. If Jaden Daniels comes back next week, I still don't think it happens. I mean, you guys are technically in the playoff picture right now, but they're not going up. They're going to go down for the rest of the season. It's a tank. Might be a bit of a shocker for some people, but I'm not on the Commanders train. I don't believe in them.
We disagree for once. Give me Crank. Give me
Dang.
Crank.
Wow.
They were in the NFC Championship game last year. They've got Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel. Terry McLaurin is a great wide receiver, struggling to stay healthy. I'm going to say how they performed in the first half against the Chiefs was scary. Mariota was playing very well. So they've got the ability to move the ball against great teams. I like them, and they've beat some quality opponents. They beat the Chargers. They've shown they have it in them to win a football game. So to beat a very reputable team, I'm gonna say crank. I mean, you can't tank everybody. One of these teams is gonna get back in the mix, and it would help us a lot to see Washington get back in the mix. It means they'd beat Denver, and they'd probably beat some other teams. They got Sunday Night Football next week, and I know Jaden Daniels is gonna come back, and you gotta crank some of them. So I'm gonna crank. This is the third team I've cranked, so I'm gonna crank the Washington Commanders. All right, up next we got Atlanta Falcons.
I really want to crank them. I really do. I like Penix. They're a good team. They beat Buffalo, but they just haven't performed the last 2 weeks. I'm looking at their schedule right now. They're not getting any help at all. They got the Patriots, they got the Colts, they got the Seahawks, Buccaneers, Rams. It's another tank. Unfortunately, it's wild. I like the Falcons, but their schedule's not doing them any justice at all. This team is probably gonna have a losing record. It's unfortunate, it is the way it is, but yeah, tank.
Yeah, so I understand exactly what you're saying. Like another team's success and victories means another team is losing. I mean, not every team can finish above 500, right? I mean,
Right.
some teams are just gonna have to go underneath.
Yep.
And I just think the Atlanta Falcons are that team. That game was a fluke, that Buffalo game, and they had the home team on their side rooting them on. I suppose that Buffalo game was a fluke. They're playing the Patriots, Colts. Their schedule's not too rough, but I don't like losing to Miami. That's a bad look. Getting blown out by the Panthers 30-0. So they've got two very impressive wins in Washington and Buffalo, but the rest of the season is a complete wash for them. And they beat the Vikings. That's a team we tanked. Like you said, I really like Michael Penix Jr. And they've got that great offensive nucleus with Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson. But their defense, I just don't think is playing good enough to keep them in any football games.
For sure.
All right. Finally, we have the Carolina Panthers.
All right. And this is where I change it up a bit. I like the Carolina Panthers to crank it up here. The Panthers are a good team. Don't let that loss to Buffalo fool you guys. Bryce Young didn't play. Andy Dalton was playing that game, and he played as bad as any quarterback could have played that football game. He was gifting the Buffalo Bills interceptions. He couldn't do anything good that game. He couldn't. Bryce Young is returning to practice this week. The team has said they expect him to suit up against the Packers next week at Lambeau Field. This Panthers team, they're young. They started off at 500. They've got some easy games coming forward. They got two against the Saints coming up, and yeah, I don't know if they'll make the playoffs, but they'll be in that hunt for sure, somewhere between the 7 to 9 seed. So yeah, I like them to crank.
Great to see them. Great to see them at 4-4. It just shows that they're moving in the right direction with Bryce Young. Man, do I say crank or do I? They've got Tampa 2 times at the end, so they're not playing Tampa until the end. They are getting some schedule help. 2 New Orleans games left. I've tanked too many other people. To keep it even at 4-4, I'll go ahead and crank the Carolina Panthers. I love Rico Dowdle, and I like how he's found some redemption at Carolina. And I love those unis, those powder blue unis. I love that they beat Dallas. I don't know why. It's just a nice victory to be like, we beat the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they still got a game against Atlanta, which we put on the tank list. So
Mhm.
yeah, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. Let's crank the Carolina Panthers.
Absolutely.
And segment 4 is our college football review. So, from our predictions, we thought Oklahoma was going to beat Ole Miss, but Ole Miss showed them where they belong in the SEC, and they defeated Oklahoma by a score of 34-26. Vanderbilt beats Missouri, and it was probably the best football game of the weekend, in all honesty. I watched it. It was an incredible game. Had a lot of great defensive stops. Every point was so hardly fought for in that game, 17-10 score. And the only difference, the teams mirrored each other in the scoreboard, but Vanderbilt scored a touchdown in the third quarter that made all the difference in the game. Missouri caught a ball near the goal line as time expired, but they were ruled short, and therefore the game was over. Vanderbilt walks away with that 17-10 victory. Texas A&M thrashes LSU. They destroy LSU. Was it 35-17?
Something like that. I know they got demolished.
It was 49-25. Te- and which resulted in, Brian Kelly losing his job, which we will talk about later. And finally, BYU beats Iowa State. Not too big of a surprise. Iowa State off to a hot start at 5-0. They've lost 3 straight since starting 5-0. So Iowa State's 5-3. We'll take a look at the college football rankings. Ohio State's still at number 1. No reason to be knocked off. They had a bye week. Indiana is 8-0. Texas A&M is 8-0. Those are the 3 front runners. From there, you've got a bunch of one-loss teams: Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, Ole Miss. Georgia Tech sitting at number 8, undefeated. Georgia Tech might sneak into a first-round bye. They're not playing anybody. Vanderbilt's sitting at 9. Vanderbilt is looking good to make that college football playoff. They can probably afford to lose one more game. But we'll see. BYU undefeated at 10. They're tied with Miami at 10. So both those teams are tied at number 10. And then we're going to put Notre Dame at number 12. Notre Dame holding on very thinly to that last spot. They need a couple teams to lose some games for them to secure that college football playoff. They also have to win out as well. So it's very interesting to see what's going to happen to these Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Who's left on the outside? Texas Tech and Tennessee. 2 teams that are on the outside looking in. They're getting left in the cold. But we'll see if Texas Tech can get back into it. Tennessee's going to have to win a big game this Saturday if they want any chance. Our matchups for this weekend, a lot of really good SEC matchups. It's always the case. We got Vanderbilt going against Texas. Texas is making themselves relevant again by winning against Mississippi State last week. I like Vanderbilt too much to pick against them. You can call it bias, but I really like what Vanderbilt's got going on. That tight end Stowers, I'd like to see the Kansas City Chiefs draft him, but that's a topic for a different day. Give me Vanderbilt over Texas, 24-16. Oklahoma's playing Tennessee, in which what might be the biggest game of the weekend. Oklahoma's playing Tennessee. It might be the highest matchup between 2 ranked teams. 18 versus 14. That game's at Tennessee. I like Oklahoma to bounce back against Tennessee, and I think Tennessee kind of falls out of the college football playoff with this loss. Oklahoma stays in it. So this is really the time where the SEC teams are going to start eliminating each other from this contention. I like Oklahoma to win. I think they're going to take care of them pretty easily. Give me Oklahoma 31-14. Next up, we got Indiana, Maryland. It's not a big ranked team matchup, but the reason I bring attention to this, because this is a trap game for the Indiana Hoosiers. It's at Maryland. Maryland's 4-3. Indiana's 8-0. Indiana could very easily be overlooking their opponent. I'm going to call this a trap game. Give me Maryland 16-10 over Indiana. Nick, you got any thoughts? Or
Part of me, I'm really looking at that Tennessee Oklahoma game, and the fact that it's at Tennessee, I don't know. I just don't know if this is a bounce back game for the Sooners. I like Tennessee in that game personally. I think that is good. That's got to be the game of the week for sure. But I'm taking them.
yeah, but it's actually college football's doing an act of charity, college football game day. They're going to go, instead of going to an SEC team every week, because we all know they have been, college game day is doing a great thing. They're going to Cincinnati versus Utah. They're heading out to Utah, to number 17 Cincinnati's facing Utah. The alumni of a famous Chiefs player we know. I think they lost the first game of the season or the second, but they're 7-1. They're on fire. They've won a lot of really close games, but they haven't played any serious opponents like Utah. I like Utah to win that game. It's at Utah. It's late. Cincinnati's not used to playing games in the Western time zone. So I like Utah to win that game, and I think they're going to beat them. Late games in the Big 12, the teams out west usually like find a way to win. They usually beat them pretty good. So I like Utah to beat Cincinnati pretty good. I'd say 34-6.
Sounds about right. I don't think it'll be close.
Yeah, I mean Cincinnati just hasn't played anybody. They have beat
Since
Nebraska, Bowling Green. Oh, they lost to Nebraska. Bowling Green, Northwestern State, Kansas, Iowa State, UCF, Oklahoma State, and Baylor. All right. They haven't beat anybody, which is why they've climbed up in the rankings. But it's time for them to meet their match. And give me Utah 34-6.
love it.
All right. We got segment 5, and it is your best bets. Nick, who you got for the spread?
All right. For the spread, I have, and man, I failed miserably last week. I had Carolina covering the 7-point spread. That didn't work too well. But this week, hopefully, I get a little bit better. Texans are on fire. They're playing a Denver Broncos team, and I don't know if you heard, but Pat Surtain, he's injured.
He's
He's
might
injured.
be put on IR.
Might be put on IR. So the Texans, I expect them to cover their 1.5 point over the Broncos.
Okay, for my spread, give me the Cowboys to cover the spread. They are 3-point favorites, and I think they win by more than 3 points in Cowboy Stadium against the Cardinals team. Next up, we got our total. Give me Chiefs Bills over. I had to say it first because I knew you were going to say it too.
I wanted to, but I knew you were going to say it, so I went ahead and picked somebody else.
Yeah,
So.
Chiefs Bills 53 points. That's a very generous one, but when the Chiefs have a high scoring offense, this is a high scoring game. I think the Chiefs defense is very vulnerable in ways that the Bills know how to expose. So the Chiefs defense was exposed against Washington in the first half. Washington was really moving the ball well with Marcus Mariota. I think Josh Allen and the Bills are going to be able to move the ball against the Chiefs. So, for that being said, I like them to score at least 20 points in this game. But the Chiefs' offense is just too good. I'm not scouting report.
Yeah.
Total. Total.
Yeah.
Give me Chiefs Bills over.
Like it. But again, I knew you were going to pick it. Only reason I didn't. So I went with the Steelers Colts. I'll take them over 50. Easy. The Colts are too good. The Steelers have some pretty good weapons. They're going to want to win this game. They're going to be going back and forth. Aaron Rodgers is going to be throwing the football. Jonathan Taylor on the Colts side, he's going to be running all over them. Yeah, over 50. Easy.
Yeah, the Colts don't have a very good defense.
No,
So the Colts score a lot, but they also allow a lot.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
I think Rodgers can get over the total.
I think so.
All right, my player prop, give me Bryce Young to throw one interception against Green Bay.
Wow.
Their pass rush is fierce. Young quarterbacks in a pass rush make some brutal mistakes, and they just kind of throw that ball aimlessly. And I think Bryce Young is going to throw an interception against the Green Bay Packers.
That's crazy. Yeah, my player prop is actually on the other side of the football. I expect Jordan Love to go over 220 against the Panthers. It's crazy because I was just telling you that I expect the Panthers to crank, and I do, but that's mainly
Not this game.
Not this game. Not this game. The Packers they're elite. They are a true contender, and Jordan Love over 220. Yeah.
Right on.
Yep.
We move into segment 6, which is our playbook and scouting report. Thursday night football. It is Miami Dolphins versus the Baltimore Ravens. We expect Lamar Jackson to come back for this game. And with that being said, the Ravens are not fooling around. They found what they've been missing. Miami just beat the Falcons, but I don't think they have the horses to hang with the Baltimore Ravens. Their defense probably can't stop Derrick Henry, if I'm being honest. So I like Baltimore very easily. Give me Baltimore 29-13.
Yeah. My prediction's very similar. Like I said, we expect Lamar Jackson to be back, but let's be honest. Even if Lamar Jackson doesn't play, the Ravens are probably going to win this football game. They're the Dolphins. They're not a good football team. Tua Tagovailoa used to be a good quarterback. He just doesn't have it anymore. I I'm gonna go ahead and take the Ravens 30-10.
Sunday Night Football, we got Commanders against the Seattle Seahawks. I believe the game's in Seattle.
Yeah, it is.
All right, Nick.
Man, it's gonna be a good football game. And no, I take that back. It's in Washington. My bad. Yeah, it's in Washington, and it sounds like Jaden Daniels might be back. The Seahawks have been so freaking good all year. I think the Commanders do win this football game because they have to. This is a must win. They can't afford another loss. The Seahawks can. It's in their house. They have the pieces, like you said. They know how to move the football. I expect them to get it done against the Seahawks in a good game. 22-19.
That's what I think about your prediction.
It's bold. It's bold.
I like Washington at home. I'd like to say Jaden Daniels will come back. If he doesn't, I would pick Seattle to win. But I think Jaden Daniels is going to be back. And with that being said, Washington at home, it's a get-right game for them. Prime time, they show up in prime time. They play pretty well on Sunday Night Football. So I think Washington's going to win. It's going to be close, but I like Washington to win 27-24. All right, Monday Night Football. We got the Dallas Cowboys against the Arizona Cardinals. I think, so the team in which I'm located, you could call it my home team, I guess. The Arizona Cardinals have been in every game they played, Nick. So that's why the Cowboys are only 3-point favorites. But I think this is the straw that breaks the camel's back. And they've been in every game they play against some rough opponents. I mean, they gave Indianapolis quite a battle. It was 31-27. And they played Green Bay close and Seattle close. So I guess I'm going to say that they're worn out from playing all those teams close. And therefore, the Dallas Cowboys will win. And I'm going to pick the Dallas Cowboys. I'll give them a field goal because they have Brandon Aubrey. I'll say 31-26.
I don't know. Like you said, they've been in every game, and I don't want to say they're going to be worn out. That they've been doing it every week, and they haven't shown a sign of necessarily slowing down. And this Cowboys defense, they're just so bad in the secondary. It's going to be really close, but this Cardinals offense, they are slightly underrated. Kyler Murray's a little bit better than some people give him credit for, and I expect Marvin Harrison Jr. to have a good day against the secondary. So I will take the Cardinals to shock the world here. It's going to be close. I'm going to say 24-23, one score game. 1 point. 1 point.
I don't think it's really shocking the world.
I mean, it's just
It's a 2-5 team against a 3-4
it's
team.
just I mean, the Cardinals, they're a team. I mean, you're in Phoenix, so it's probably different, but nobody talks about the Cardinals anywhere else. They're like one of the least talked about teams in the NFL nowadays. They really are. People kind of
Yeah,
just
no, they're a very under the radar team.
they are.
And it's like they just don't have a very heavy fan base. There's a lot of local fans, but there's not a lot of people who like have stories of being Cardinals fans or, their grandparents taking them to Cardinals games. You just don't have stories like that with the Cardinals, which is why nobody really talks about them.
For sure.
All right, up next we got Falcons Patriots.
I mean, I'd be foolish to pick the Falcons, so I'm just not. The Patriots are too good right now. They look like one of the best teams in the AFC, if I have to be honest. Everybody has to be honest with themselves right now. Be like, okay, who are the top 3 teams in the AFC right now as far as how they are playing? Colts, Chiefs, Patriots. Like that should be the only right answer if you're not going off of record. This Pats team is so freaking good. Drake May looks like an MVP candidate. He is averaging 9.4 yards per pass. The Falcons, I expect them to tank, and it's not going to be close. 28-13, Patriots.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, Nick. Patriots win by 2 scores. Let's go 21-10. I just don't think the Patriots will score too many points. Colts Steelers. It's any given Sunday, but you can't really predict that the Steelers will beat the Colts based on how both teams have played. You have no choice but to think that the Colts are probably going to win this very easily. So, with that being said, I like the Indianapolis Colts to continue their dominance, and I will suggest that the Indianapolis Colts win 38-14.
Wow, that's actually wild. I think it'll be surprisingly close. The Steelers, I do expect them to drop a lot of games. This Colts defense isn't the best. People can put some points on them. People can move the ball on them. It's that Colts offense mainly. It's gonna be a back and forth game, but the Colts at some point they got to be brought back to life. No disrespect to them, their record is better than who they are as far as their roster. If you look at their roster, it's good, but man, one loss. I expect it to go to 2 losses this week. Steelers are at home yet again. 32-29 Steelers.
Oh, you think the Steelers are going to win?
Steelers win. Last second field goal, 45
Chris
yards.
Boswell.
Chris Boswell.
He doesn't slip on Heinz Field
No, he
after they
doesn't.
after they
Nope.
resawed the field.
That's right. Boswell's automatic. 45 yards for the win.
All right, the last one, guys. It's the start calling it the AFC Bowl. You know, these two teams meet every season. They've met every season since 2020. Them meeting next season is honestly in jeopardy, depending on how they finish in their division. But you guys all know this matchup: Bills Chiefs.
Yeah. It's going to be high scoring for sure. Like you were saying, the Commanders were moving the football on us. They were in the red zone 4 times. They threw a pick once. They got, or not 4 times. They got stopped on 4th down once, and they were past the 50-yard line on their 4th and 6 when they were half a yard shy. They were moving the football. They really were. So the Bills will move that football on us. Their running game's mean. James Cook's a monster, but this Chiefs offense, we're so good right now. And Ed Oliver will be out. He's got that torn biceps, so it's going to be back and forth all game. I expect 35-28 Chiefs. 1 touchdown.
No field goals?
No field goals. No field goals.
Okay. It's very common. It's happened the last 4 seasons. Yep, the last 4 seasons where Buffalo has beat Kansas City in the regular season, and Kansas City has proceeded to beat them in the playoffs. Only 3 times did it happen in the playoffs.
It didn't happen in 22.
22 they didn't meet.
Yeah.
But so it's pretty common to expect that the Chiefs are going to lose. And usually when these two teams meet, Buffalo is a better team. They're playing better in the regular season when the two teams meet. But I actually think Kansas City is playing better than Buffalo right now. Buffalo did just have a dominant performance against Carolina. They put up 40. Chiefs still haven't put up 40 yet this year. They could have very easily done it multiple times. But they don't run those track meets. You know, they hide their cards. So the Chiefs are revealing a lot for this game. They've been saving a lot for this game, and they want to get that chip off their shoulder. And it's when you don't expect the Chiefs to win against Buffalo. That's when they beat Buffalo. And I think the Chiefs are a better team. Like you said, Buffalo's going to score points, but the Chiefs' offense is better. Give me the Chiefs. I'll say 34-28.
34-28. And I'll say this, I think the game actually ends how the Bills beat us last year in the regular season. 4th and 2, about 20 yards from the end zone. Mahomes is just going to run it in the Bills stadium. He's going to shut that crowd up. I love it. I love it.
All right, that brings us to our final topic, which is more than a game. So we just want to bring attention to something that is becoming a recurring theme in college football, which is firing your coach and buying them out. Louisiana State University, commonly known as LSU, decides to fire head coach Brian Kelly and to pay him a $54 million buyout. Let's take a look at his career record for the season, for his 3 seasons at LSU.
34-14.
That was his.
That's his overall record. with LSU. 19-10 record in the SEC.
Yeah, it's the 19-10 in the SEC that got him, let's be
Yeah,
honest.
it is.
They lost 3 of their last 4. They started undefeated, but they lost 3 of their last 4, all SEC games. Yep. They started chanting "Fire Kelly" all throughout the stadium.
Yeah.
He did win an SEC division title. They won the SEC West his first year with the Tigers in 2023. That can't be right. If they won the SEC West, they would have faced Georgia in the championship game, but Alabama played Georgia and beat them.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did.
that can't be right.
No, it's not right.
It says it on this ESPN article that Kelly won an SEC West division title in his first year with the Tigers. But no, that
Huh.
can't be right because I know Alabama beat Georgia, and that's why Georgia missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yep. He signed a deal for $95 million in his salary, 90% of which is guaranteed, which is why you see that $54 million buyout. Once again, I don't think Brian Kelly is really too sad about it. I'm sure his pride has been hurt a lot. Brian Kelly is a very egotistical guy and really cares a lot about his reputation. So I'm sure he's upset about being fired, but I don't think he's going to be sad about collecting that $54 million paycheck.
I know I wouldn't. That's for sure. No. Man, it's just you look at the overall record, it's not necessarily bad, but it just doesn't live up to the LSU spotlight. Okay, we expect you to perform at a certain level at LSU. Like these big colleges, Alabama, Clemson, LSU, you have a standard, and it's national championship. That's what the last 3 coaches did for LSU. They've all led them to a national championship, and Kelly just hasn't done that. He's won some games, but he can't get them to the promised land, and it has shown after losing 3 of the last 4. So, yeah, I could see why.
It's just not a good look for college football. If schools are just willing to pay these millions of dollars just to buy out the coaches that they fire. And with the transfer portal, I mean, it makes things nearly impossible. Teams can go to 4 different schools over the course of 4 years in this new transfer portal. Makes it hard to have any stability with your program.
Yeah, there has now been 6 head coaches in college football fired this year already. That's ridiculous, actually.
And once again, it's like, why can't you wait till the end of the season?
Yeah.
Like if it's obvious your season is over with this guy as your coach, why
Yeah.
why? Because firing your head coach is just it's gonna ruin the locker room. Because
Uh-huh.
the locker room's just gonna feel like everything I've worked for is just a lie. Because they want to play for that coach, they want to help that coach win. But if the coach just gets fired from underneath them, I mean that can't be a good feeling for the locker room. But it just goes to show how much money is in college football. I mean, you'd like to think there's a lot of money in the NFL, but there more and more of it's getting poured into college football.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And before you know it, it's college football is going to a bad place. And whether you like to admit it or not, yeah, it's going to a bad place. And before you know it, there's going to be some issues with the NFL recruiting their talent from college football because players are going to start creating miniature careers in college football and making money in college football, and they're not going to want to go play in the NFL because they're going to keep getting more and more eligibility in these college football teams.
Uh-huh.
It's what
Yeah.
happened to Carson Beck
Yeah.
against Miami. So this concept of firing your coaches and buying them out is just introducing us to this idea that we all know. I'm losing makeup. Uh, introducing us to this idea that we all know, and it's just that there's a lot of money in college football as we speak, and it's not good for the integrity of the sport.
No, it's not.
And that is one of the many ways that football is more
More
than a
than a
game.
game.
I'm Brock Jameson, and this is my co-host Nick Poland. Next week, we will be discussing contenders versus pretenders. So we're going to pick 8 teams that have a record slightly above 500. So We're going to pick those 8 teams. It might not be the 8 teams you expect us to choose because we want to pick some teams that we really want to know if they're on the fence of whether or not they're a legitimate contender for the Super Bowl. We'll discuss those teams, and like I said, we'll determine whether or not they're contenders or if they're pretenders. They'll fall off the postseason race. We'll see you next Wednesday, and we wish you good luck this weekend as you cheer on your favorite teams Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.